On the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me a partridge in a pear tree. That's what we're cooking today. Well, not really a partridge because we're gonna do a different type of bird and a pear tart. Welcome back to Annie's Smoking Pot. I, of course, am Annie, and this is my tiny kitchen, and I have joined another collaboration put on by Rich over at Just Cook the Damn Food. It is the 12 Days of Christmas. I chose to go with the first day of Christmas, which is a partridge in a pear tree. So the closest I could find was a Cornish game hen, and then we're gonna do a really good pear tart after the fact, so we'll talk about that later. Right now, let's just get these hens ready to go. We are gonna cook them in the air fryer. We're gonna go 350 for about 30 minutes. As always, the time will pop up over here as to how long it took. We wanna get these to an internal temp of 165. Only thing we're gonna do is a little bit of olive oil drizzle and some seasonings. I did clean them already. I ran cold water through the cavity and dried them off really well with a paper towel. Now the olive oil just helps keep the skin crisp up, and it's also going to help keep the meat a little moist on the inside so that the whole bird doesn't dry out. And you don't need a lot, just enough to kind of get in every little nook and cranny of that bird's body. And we have got smoky paprika, garlic powder, onion powder, and a little salt and pepper, and it is coarse salt and coarse pepper. We're just going to sprinkle it all over the bird, and you want to just give it a nice liberal coating on both sides. That looks fantastic. And I'm just going to put them on a roasting tray. If you want, you can put them in like a baking dish if you'd prefer, but they're not going to be a lot of juice like a turkey. I could never use this because the sides are not tall enough. These are not going to render out that much fat and liquid, so these little sides are going to be just perfect. And you want to make sure and go breast side up. And we're going to add a sprig of rosemary just into the cavity of each one. Right on in there. Sorry, guy. Getting a little personal. Oh, let's get those birds a cooking. Those have about 30 minutes. When we've got 10 minutes left, we're gonna get our pear tart ready to go. Let's go ahead and get our pear tart ready to go, because that's the part of the pear for the partridge in a pear tree. I am just using some plain goat cheese for this tart, and then we're gonna add some fresh rosemary. Just like that, maybe. If you have dried rosemary, you can certainly use that, and you want to chop it up finely because you don't want to get any big chunks of rosemary when you take a bite of that tart. And a little bit goes a long way. If you are using dried rosemary, you're going to want to use about twice as much as fresh. Mix that up, see where we're at. So now we need to roll out our puff pastry. And this is just your store-bought frozen puff pastry that I allowed to thaw. And you don't want to roll it out too much, just like that. I just need enough for 2 squares of puff pastry. I'm going to go ahead and cut my pear. That will determine the size I need of puff pastry. And you don't want to go too thick, but you don't want to go too thin because you do want to get the flavor of the pear. So about like that right now, like about, what would that be, like a finger width, I guess would be the terminology, right? A finger width of pear. And I am going to take the core center out with this little guy right here. Just like that. Let's see. Oh yeah, perfect. And I am going to have leftover puff pastry, which I will just put right back into my refrigerator because I will use it in something else. Nothing ever goes to waste here at Annie's Smoking Pot. You want to cut just like little slits, just like this. You know, I did this a couple of months ago. I did the same thing, but I did a cinnamon apple, an apple cinnamon sugar apple. Oh, geez, a wheeze. Man, if you want a quick, simple, throw together, delicious dessert, that was so good, and it took only 15 minutes in the air fryer. I'll put a link at the end of this video. Oh, speaking of links, so this is a collaboration, like I said, with a bunch of other wonderful YouTube cooking channels that are out there. We're doing the 12 Days of Christmas, hashtag 12 Days of Christmas, and I will be sure to put a link in the description with the recipe of what we made and with their channels as well. We're gonna go ahead and add our goat cheese right into this little square right there. Probably not gonna use it all, which is fine because I will use this on crackers later as a really nice little snack. You just want to smear it out just the best you can. And then our pear is going to go right in the center We're gonna take the corners and we're gonna just tuck them right down there in the center, just like that. And if you need to make your slits bigger, you can certainly make your slits bigger. There's no wrong way to do this. This is just more aesthetically pleasing than just a flat puff pastry. We have one less step now. We need to give it an egg wash to help it brown. So just a simple egg cracked into a container. Should have used a bigger container. And then we're just going to brush it right on top of the puff pastry. Hope you've enjoyed this video so far. If you have, I'd love it if you'd give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscription button if you haven't already. Maybe hit that bell icon, then you'll never miss an episode of Annie's Smoking Pot. Those are ready to go. Let's check our birds. Going in with our probe. Oh my gosh, look at those. They look fantastic. You want to probe it at the thickest point of the bird. Yep, we are done. So we're gonna go ahead and take those out and we're gonna tent them with foil and let them rest. That is just going to allow them to rest but hold their heat so that they don't, that way it'll kind of pull that moisture back in while we get these going. 350 air fryer mode, and these are gonna go for 15 minutes. There we go. That's it. It is time to dish up. Oh my gosh, absolutely fantastic. There you have it, a partridge in a pear tree. And by a partridge, I mean a game hen, but it is a pear tart, which starts with a T, like tree. So we're gonna go with that. A bird and a pear. Oh, wait, there, a partridge, a pear, and a tree. It doesn't get any better than that, right? A partridge in a pear tree. Actually, it does get better as soon as I bite into that. That's what's gonna make it better. And make sure you check out some of those other great chefs that are cooking up the other 12 days for you. This is the first day, so there's 11 more days coming at you. And it's all going to be good because they're all really great chefs. It is so juicy. Let me show you this. Can you see? Look at all that wonderful juiciness down there. Oh, I don't even know where to start. It all just looks so good. Oh, that skin is so crispy. That is cooked absolutely perfectly. As you can see, I am not the bird carver in my family. Not even a little bit. That skin is so crispy and that meat is just juicy. Oh. Oh, wow. You actually get the flavor of that rosemary that we shoved in the cavity there. That comes through that meat so well. It is so juicy. You don't even have to chew it. Should we cut into that guy right there and see how that looks as well? Oh, that's crispy. Wow. Oh my gosh. Let's go in and take a bite of that guy. Oh, wow. That is so good. The pear is cooked perfectly. It's not mushy by any means. It's got the right amount of bite to it. That goat cheese and that rosemary complement that pear perfectly. You know what? That's all I have to say. Merry Christmas, because you'll be watching this. Tomorrow is Christmas, so make sure little kids are in bed tonight before Santa comes. But as always, thank you so much for watching another episode of Annie's Smoking Pot. Take care, Merry Christmas, and until next time, bye. That was so good. That was so good. It is all so good.